Okay, this video will be a quick video to go over theme, diction, and what did I group with that? Oh, tone. So theme, tone, and diction. So theme, similarly to fiction, is the message of the poem. The topic of the poem could be, for instance, love, right? That would be the topic. But what the poem says about love, that is the theme. So think of the theme, like I said with fiction, as sort of the lesson you're learning from this piece of literature. It's not as didactic as that. Didactic means like giving a lecture, like trying to make you learn something. It's not so much about learning, although it's like the lesson, but the message, let's call it that. What the poem says about love is the message of the poem, and that is the theme of the poem. So there are two things, well, there are many things, everything in a poem, including line breaks and including spaces, which are called caesuras. When you see a space within a line, like a big space between words, that's called a caesura. I actually think I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, so you should look that up, and I also should look that up. But every single moment in a poem is chosen very carefully to support the theme of the poem, to help reveal that message, to help bring us to that deeper point of the writer's message. I suppose the answer maybe to the writer's question. A lot of times writers, poets, writers alike write into a question, and the theme or the message is kind of the answer to that question or another question. So when we're talking about poetry, we're always talking about a deeper meaning, right? So every single thing in a poem helps us arrive at that deeper meaning, and analyzing those specific elements of poetry can bring us there more quickly. So in addition to theme, in this video, we're going to talk about diction and tone. These two things work together and go together. Tone is the attitude that the speaker has towards the topic or the message or the theme, the speaker or the writer, right? Often the speaker and the writer, as you learned from reading in your book about the listener and the speaker, sometimes they're the same. The writer is the speaker of the poem. Sometimes the speaker of the poem is a character. You never want to assume it's the writer, but sometimes the writer will let you know it is them, right? They are the I of their poem. Either way, what the attitude in the poem of the speaker or the writer is to the message, to the theme, to the topic, that is tone. It's essentially very similar to tone of voice, except on writing, on the page in writing, we don't have the benefit of the inflection of a voice. So we do that through punctuation, we do that through line breaks, we do that through images, colors, but we also specifically do that through something called diction, which is word choice. Diction is really interesting to me as a poet because there are many words that mean essentially the same thing, but the way they sound in a poem brings an entirely different element, right? You'll learn about this when you get to sound and sense in your book, which is page 86. The sound of a word, even if the meaning is the same, the sound of a word can change an entire line in a poem. So think of the word rock and stone. Those are essentially two words that can mean the same thing depending on the context, but they carry totally different sounds. Stone is going to bring a different musicality and sonic to your line than rock is because of that hard K at the end. So when you're looking at the words that your poet, the writer, selects to show an image, the writer is thinking about sound. They're thinking about the rhythm of the words. They're thinking about the way that the word sounds, either gentle or violent, right? All of that matters, and that's diction. So diction is simply word choice. Diction directly informs tone. So if I use the word stone, the tone may be a softer tone than if I use the word rock specifically to punctuate the line, to show aggression, to bring in a violent sound into the line of poetry. So that's pretty much it. Super simple, pretty straightforward. Diction is word choice. Tone is the writer's attitude toward the message or theme of the poem. And theme, as you know, is the message or the lesson or the big idea. It is what the piece of art says about the topic, right? It is not the same as the topic. It is what the piece of artwork is saying about the topic. Let me know if you have questions about that.